Do I actually want to do this? Are you picking your teeth?
I had a little something in there and I was like, I really don't want to smile really big. And then all of a sudden you get all of this, going on this side of my mouth. So I'm like, okay, while she is making a point, I will just remove said distraction. Absolutely not.
Looking like a baddie, I show up and make them stop. Wanna know my name so badly, cause I run this whole block. Flip my hair, move my head, show the world I'm royalty. Queen, yeah. Move it. They wanna know just how I do it.
Society would lead us to believe that we must be all things to all people. Even in the Bible, the P31, the Proverbs 31 girl, lady, woman.
Mhm.
She is all things to all people. Like, girlfriend gets up before the sun comes up. She's working hard. She's classy in the streets. She has a great man that she honors and serves.
Oh,
She
no, no,
puts
no, right there.
food on the table for her
Hold
family.
on.
And then
Not the
she goes
same.
out and toils and has to come back and continue to serve her family.
But there's a couple of things that you pointed out really quick that we don't have in today's society. So first of all, I agree with you. Women are meant to be empathetic, caretakers, those. But again, another topic that we have slated, the forced feminine, being a forced feminist. We have weak men who don't know how to be men. They're not emotionally stable. They're not financially stable. We have women who have stepped up. Listen, I love what they were trying to do in the 70s, burn bras, equal rights, all that, but they did not execute on this because now we have women who, why do I need you? Like, why do I need you? So when you have a strong
That is a
partner,
true point.
it is. So it's not the same. I agree with you. When you have a strong partner who's emotionally stable and can is not offended if you do make more or is what did they say equally yoked, all of those things, then it's a completely different thing. It is completely different. And typically, going back to what you said about boundaries, setting a boundary and then upholding a boundary, it's like phase one, I set it and forget it. What was that? They used to do that, the
Set
rotisserie
it
thing.
and forget
My
it.
mom
Yeah, the
had one.
rotisserie
She used that
thing.
thing for everything. But like set it,
1992 called and they want their commercial back.
heck yes. But you can't just set it and forget it. You have to uphold it. So, and it's a skill. Almost like a muscle memory that you have to do because you're so used to being like, oh, sure, I'll do that. I'll do that. So, one thing that really helped me, like converting from the people pleaser to no, absolutely not, right? Was I would sit there for a minute and I was okay. I didn't care if it made me look like in any sort of way, but I would sit there for a minute and I would say, okay, like, do I have the time for this? Do I actually want to do this? Are you picking your teeth?
I had a little something in there and I was like, I really don't want to smile really big. And then all of a sudden you get all of this, going on this side of my mouth. So I'm like, okay, while she is making a point, I will just remove said distraction. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. For the podcast, from now on, we're adding that to your checklist.
Yes, we are
Have
not
you had a
exempt
bio
from
break? Do
our
you
own
have what you
advice.
need? Are your teeth clear? Like, is your stuff working? Like, I'm setting a
I don't
boundary.
need you to get all of that done beforehand. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyways, back to my tangent. You can't just set it and forget it. I what I used to do is I'm like, how is this kind of like benefiting me or the person I want to be, the person I'm trying to be? And if it's not, then I would say no. And then at first I would do a justification, but then I was like, I don't know this person. Like I don't owe them anything, right? I can almost understand if like, hey, you're sister or family or a very close friend comes to you and they're like, hey, do you want to do this? And you're like, hey, no, I have other plans. So sorry, maybe another time. Actually, that's another thing. I really stopped saying sorry unless I was sorry. I'm like, you'll have to excuse my lateness. You'll have to excuse my grumpiness. You'll have to show me some grace. Stop saying sorry. And this is
Mm.
for men or women, children, anything. Stop saying sorry if you did not do anything wrong.
And what a self-fulfilling prophecy that is so unconscious. So if you're constantly labeling yourself as sorry, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I'm sorry, like you are degrading yourself and taking your perception of self down to a sorry ass level, and this is not what
Well,
we need to program ourselves as. And
well, it's taking on the burdens of other people. You did not do anything wrong. And the reason I say is because I notice like my children doing it. My 12-year-old son, and he's now getting because I do. I'm like, you didn't do anything wrong. Do not say you're sorry. Kind of it's the old in sales when you have the filler words. We do this, right? I just used one, but you're stopping and you're bringing it to attention because in our subconscious, we don't even know that we're doing it. So being able to call it out or have somebody call it out, they're like, oh my gosh, you're right. So I do tell people, I'm like, you have nothing to be sorry for. You did nothing wrong. But part of
there's no
that,
reason to apologize,
yeah, but part of that is even what do I always say? Change the way you speak and it changes the way you think.
which
That
is why I
is,
just said, don't say you're sorry.
yeah, and it retrains your brain and your new habits and those types of things. So, again, saying no, does it benefit my outcomes that I want? Does it do anything? And then I would just, and the more you kind of talk yourself through that, sometimes I would write it out, but you just become in a habit of it. And then before you know it, you're automatically doing it.
I would agree with you. And another thing that I think goes a lot deeper than what people realize is understanding that you give off a vibe, and unintentionally, unknowingly, people just read you, right?
Mhm.
So, one thing that I would say is that I know that intentionally I don't give off the I will rescue you vibe.
Mhm.
So, so many women just become a martyr. They just sacrifice themselves.
They'll even sacrifice. Listen to this. I did read an article where they were talking about being agreeable, right, to society's conditioning. It really imposes not only women are like passing up employment opportunities. Let's think about this. Oh, I can't because I'm the primary caretaker for kids. Okay, well then you need to talk with your partner and figure out a solution. You shouldn't have to sacrifice or have immediate I need to do this, the reaction. They have
I would
given
agree.
yeah, promotions at work. Oh, it's going to require me to travel. I can't do that. You need to have a conversation beforehand. It has in the article they were talking about how it's hindered women from building financial stability. What happens if your dynamic in your relationship changes? Your partner, something happens to them, regardless of what it is. Now you're SOL. And then the most important thing is that women, they are risking their physical safety. In the world today, where the number one moneymaker is human trafficking, and we have a world of where we're trying to make um, sex acts and pedophiles okay in society. Like, no, women are built with a sense of most of them an intuition. They
Yes.
know spidey sense is going off. This is not right, but yet they will be
They're
like, oh,
ignoring.
they are. And the greatest thing is like if we could change that and being like, I've told my husband, I'm like, absolutely not. We've gone into business and I'm like, that guy, that person, they're a snake in the grass, right? And a couple of times he didn't listen to me. Oh, guess what? Got burnt. And then eventually started listening to me, right? Women are built with this amazing
Sense of knowing.
superpower. I'm going to call it a
Yeah,
superpower because it really is. So
I would agree with you.
when we negate ourselves from that, like it's just detrimental.
It is the ultimate rejection. It is the ultimate rejection. And you make such a great point because it is so crucial for the woman to begin to empower herself, to begin to glorify herself. And dare I even say it? Because also society says that we should not be full of ourselves. We should not glorify ourselves. If we do toot our own horn, we're considered self centered. But the real truth of the matter is women, for the most part, have become martyrs,
Mhm,
sometimes some doormats. They've sacrificed themselves, they've rejected themselves, right? And
mhm,
it is so crucial and so important to begin to honor yourself, to glorify yourself, to listen to yourself, and obey yourself. When your intuition is going off like firecrackers on the 4th of July and you choose not to pay attention and listen, you're just really dishonoring yourself in so many ways.
mhm,
This is one thing that I would absolutely say to begin to become conscious of. We can't change the things that we do not acknowledge. So, number one, it's all about becoming conscious. About becoming aware of how you're really thinking, how you're really showing up in the world. And a lot of this goes to your automatic response. I mean, like you said it earlier, like change that automatic response to I'll fix it, I'll do it, I'll run to your rescue, I'll drop everything that I have right now that is absolutely pressing, and I will sacrifice myself and my health and my well being to save you from something that you need to be able to do for yourself.
Move it, move it. Groove it, groove it. They wanna know just